Hello everyone. Today we delve into Shakespeare's Sonnet 71. This poignant sonnet contemplates the poet's own mortality and the legacy he wishes to leave behind. Each line unfolds layers of reflection on aging and the enduring power of love. So let's begin. Introduction. So basically the sonnet is being addressed to an unknown recipient which deals with the themes of aging and legacy. Let's dive in. Let's begin with the first quatrain. No longer mourn for me when I am dead, then you shall hear the surly sullen bell. Give warning to the world that I am fled from this wild world with vilest worms to dwell. The line number one. No longer mourn for me when I am dead. The poet begins by urging the reader not to mourn for him after his death. It sets the tone for a reflection on the inevitability of mortality. Line number two. Then you shall hear the surly sullen bell. He advises the reader not to mourn until they hear the funeral bell, that is the surly sullen bell. This line foreshadows the impending event of his death. Give warning to the world that I am fled. The funeral bell serves as a warning to the world that the poet has departed. That means he has died. It introduces the theme of leaving a lasting impact on the world. From this wild world with vilest worms to dwell. The poet characterizes the world as vile. Vile means very unpleasant and refers to death as a departure from this world to a dwelling place with vilest worms. It speaks to the decay and impermanence of the earthly existence. To sum up, the poet asks not to mourn his death for more than tolling bell announces as he has departed from this world. The second quatrain. Nay, if you read this line, remember not the hand that writ it, for I love you so, that I in your sweet thoughts would be forgot. If thinking on me, then should make you woe. In the line number five, nay, if you read this line, remember not. The poet requests that if the reader does happen to read this line, they should not remember the poet's departure with sadness. The hand that writ it, for I love you so. The poet expresses his deep love for the reader, suggesting that the act of writing this line is an expression of that love. It introduces the idea that love should be the lasting memory. That I in your sweet thoughts would be forgot. He wishes to be forgotten in the reader's sweet thoughts. This may imply that he prefers the memory of his love to overshadow the memory of his departure. If thinking on me then should make you woe. The poet doesn't want thoughts of him to cause sorrow. He encourages the reader to focus on the positive aspects of their relationship. To sum up, the poet urges the reader not to remember the hand that wrote it. That means Shakespeare himself, out of deep love, wishing to be forgotten if thoughts of him bring sorrow. Third quadrant. Oh, if, I say, you look upon this verse, when I, perhaps, compounded am with clay, do not so much as my poor name rehearse, but let your love even with my life decay. Line number 9. Oh, if, I say, you look upon this verse. If, by chance, the reader looks upon this verse, the poet wants them to remember it without sadness. When I, perhaps, compounded am with clay, the poet acknowledges the eventual fate of his body, that is, being mixed with clay after the death. It's a reference to the earthly decomposition of the body. 11. Do not so much as my poor name rehearse. He advises against even mentioning his name too much in his remembrance. Instead, he emphasizes the importance of holding on to the love they shared. But let your love even with my life decay. The poet encourages the reader to let their love fade along with his life. This line suggests a kind of mutual release or letting go. To sum up the third quatrain, if in the future someone reads the verse after the poet has turned to clay, that means he has died, he pleads that his name not be mentioned and the love should decay with the life of the poet itself. The couplet. Lest the wise world should look into your moan and mock you with me after I am gone. Line number 13. Lest the wise world should look into your moan. He warns against public mourning, suggesting that the wise world might scrutinize or judge excessive grief, implying a desire for private and personal mourning, and mock you with me after I am gone. The poet expresses concern that public mourning might subject the reader to mockery after he is gone. It underscores the poet's desire for a more dignified remembrance. To sum up, to spare the mourner from mockery, the poet advises against expressing grief publicly, as the wise world might scrutinize and ridicule the mourning after his departure. Let's come to the poetic devices. Paradox. Paradox basically means two conflicting ideas or things being shown as one, or things that have both of the qualities together. Number one, that I in your sweet thoughts would be forgot if thinking on me then should make you woe. Woe means deep distress or sorrow. Here the line expresses conflicting desires regarding remembrance and the avoidance of sorrow for the beloved. How could you remember someone and still at the same time avoid the sorrow it brings? Since the remembrance is sad, the poet has died. So the paradox. Number two, rhyme scheme. This is very common, basic, and an understandable, typical Shakespearean rhyme scheme of ABAB in the first quatrain, second quatrain, third quatrain, and GG in the last couplet. Alliteration, the repetition of the sounds. We can see here wo, wise world, surly sullen, wo, and wo sound here is repeated. Metaphor, compounded with clay, wild world with vilest warmth. Here, the poet is being compared, or not basically compared, he is shown as something which can be compounded with the clay, and wild world with vilest warmth. The world is shown as wild. Similarly, surly sullen bell use of vivid and evocative images creates a sense of sensory experiences. Now we come to the conclusion and summary. In Sonnet 71, Shakespeare has shown his own mortality and the impact of time on his legacy as well as on his age. He shows the aging is an inevitable process, but at the same time, he also emphasizes that his verses have the enduring power that can make the love permanent or can immortalize the love. We come to the themes of the sonnet. First one being selfless love. The speaker implores the reader not to remember him or his writing, emphasizing a selfless love. Indeed. Vanity of earthly existence. Vanity means unpleasantness. The world is described as a wild. Acceptance of mortality. This is also very evidently seen. The poet acknowledges his eventual return to dust. That means his eventual death. Grief and pain shows how losing someone can still pain, yet one should overcome and move forward, right? So there you have it. If you enjoyed exploring Sonnet 71 with me, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Your support fuels more in-depth journeys into the world of literature. Until next time, I'm Amarnath from the Lifelong Student signing off. Stay tuned.